Namaskaram, the South Indian is here. You know, they say that change is the only constant. Unless you change, unless you alter, unless you reinvent yourself, you will be stagnated and forgotten. But you know what? It doesn't really apply to political parties because they stick on to it. But any party which decides to reinvent itself, it's very, very commendable, but at a very, very great risk. That's the story we are doing today. KCR's BRS to become TRS. There are very, very strong speculations that it may happen. Like I said, a political party which reinvents itself and keeps pace with the times is extremely unusual because most parties peg themselves on their past achievements. Our focus today on K. Chandrasekhar Rao or KCR's plans for 2024. There is a clarion call amongst party cadre that in order to tide over the recent defeat in the assembly elections, they want KCR to return home, as it were, as in Ghar Wapsi, and go back to the party's original name, Telangana Rashtra Samiti, that is TRS, from what it had become in 2022, the Bharat Rashtra Samiti or BRS. Although the chorus has been growing within party cadre, senior leaders within the party have openly rooted for the change, including former Deputy Chief Minister and Station Ganpur MLA Kadiyam Srihari. He said, and I am quoting Mr. Srihari here, he said, there are several requests from party workers and leaders to change the party's name back to TRS. I informed the leadership of feedback from party leaders from erstwhile Warangal district at a recent review meeting. Former Karimnagar MP B. Vinod Kumar, yet another influential voice within the party, also highlighted how the cadre was keen on focusing on the first word, Telangana, in the original name of the party, that is Telangana Rashtra Samiti. Vinod Kumar said, and I quote him here, our party supremo has been getting feedback at the Lok Sabha constituency review meetings every day. KCR will take a call after he recovers from his hip surgery. And it's very good news that KCR is raring to go and may start work, actively in the month of February. Experts and senior party leaders have attributed the name change from TRS to BRS as one of the reasons for the party's rout in recent elections. Names matter, and that too in a country like ours. Telangana owes its existence to KCR, and once he moved away from that name Telangana Rashtra Samiti to Bharat Rashtra Samiti, announcing his national ambitions, experts say the people also moved away. It was when KCR signed out of what is now known as the India bloc and decided to focus on his role at the national stage that the name of TRS was changed to BRS on 5th of October 2022.
The party general body meeting unanimously resolved to change the name of the party from Telangana Rashtra Samiti to Bharat Rashtra Samiti.
It was at that time that KCR made it amply clear that not only does he or his party owe anything to Prime Minister Modi, we have witnessed how many times he was never present in Hyderabad when Prime Minister Modi came visiting, and the slugfest over paddy procurement. No one can forget that. When he say, I will bring all the paddy from Telangana and dump it in front of India Gate. But then one saw him travelling across India to Delhi, West Bengal, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand and other states, also opening of party offices in Delhi and Maharashtra, and also holding a series of public meetings in Maharashtra. In June of 2023, one recalls him offering prayers at the Vithala temple in Pandharpur on the occasion of Ekadashi, an auspicious day for devotees. However, the results of assembly elections in the state did jolt KCR and his ilk and the party cadre very badly, because if one goes by sheer welfare measures initiated by KCR and also the subsequent difference in vote share post the polls, an approximation if you look at it, if the Congress was, let us say, on 39.74, the BRS wasn't very far behind, almost like let's say 37.35 at recent meetings held by KTR, his son. He made two things very, very clear. One is that they are not looking at all for a tie-up with the BJP for 2024, and second, he suggested to his cadre that they should look inwards and learn from mistakes such as organizational structuring in the party, recognizing party activists, economic well-being, reach of welfare schemes without the link of activists between the government and beneficiaries, failure to drive home the point on issuance of over 6 lakh new ration cards, new social security pensions of 15,000, etc., etc., etc. I am asking you, will going back to TRS help BRS regain lost ground? Can the BRS, TRS, whatever you want to call it, bank upon the Telangana sentiment to get back? Let's debate. Joining me on the show, A. Sai Shekhar, senior journalist and political analyst. Also joining us, Kinshuk Nag, senior journalist, K. S. Prasad, political analyst, P.V.S. Murali, who is a political analyst. A very, very warm welcome to you, all of you, and my greetings for Sankranti to all of you. It's a very auspicious day. I want to ask you, Sai, first of all, that is the news true? Is it only that the cadre wants it? Of course, senior leaders have also spoken about it, but KCR and KTR, are they ready to look at this change? Because see, it's a very big step, Sai Shekhar. When they made the change, it was a big step because it is not just a name change. It is also the political worldview, as it were, of the party, which had, changed. So, what is their intent? Sai Shekhar, first you.
In terms of course correction, KCR is second to none in the sense that, he launched his Telangana Rashtra Samiti and then fought the Congress tooth and nail, and he came out of the TDP, and he was the bitterness between the Congress and KCR, the bitterness between Chandrababu Naidu and KCR was too much. But then he course corrected and joined hands with the Congress in 2004 general elections, and in 2009, exactly 5 years later, he joined hands with Chandrababu Naidu's Telugu Desam and formed into a Mahakutami Grand Alliance and then contested. So for political necessity, maybe he doesn't think twice before making any amends in that sense, and he has actually seen a gap in the national political arena because he felt that the country is reeling under political boredom and political fatigue. So with the Congress and the BJP being the same old political parties and resorting to the same old rhetoric, so KCR thought his ideology would have currency in the country politically, but then this Telangana Assembly elections have indeed become an eye-opener, and without the approval of KCR, I don't think either Karim Srihari or Vinod Kumar would have aired their views so openly, with regard to the name change. So KCR may be considering the name change as well. That's what I think.
All right. Kinshuk Nag, I want to ask you that, this name change from, BRS to TRS, is it also because after the defeat in assembly elections, you think KCR, there's been a realization that perhaps, he should limit himself to Telangana and his national ambitions can, for now, take a back seat?
Yeah, that's true, because he got defeated. He realized that he had overstepped himself. He does not realize that even TRS came to power, even Telangana state happened because of fortuitous circumstances. That is because the Congress leaders were dead. That is our friend. And therefore, he had, because of circumstances which were very cushy to him, he had this state. And he was able to outmaneuver the Congress. The real, KCR is not the former of Telangana. Please understand that. There was a lot of identity for Telangana. A lot of people wanted Telangana. And the Congress party gave Telangana. But KCR was able to take advantage of that sentiment. and became, and now after a few years, he thought that he had become more powerful now from Telangana. He will go to Delhi and try his luck in the national elections. So that is the problem. Now he has realized that he had overstepped himself. So now he's wanting to take a step back, and therefore he wants to change his party name to the original name of TRS. And that's it.
All right. Mr. Prasad, I want to ask you that, yes, the formation of Telangana, the struggle for Telangana, we all saw how Mr. KCR, used that to his advantage during the first 3 elections. But this time around, he just could not. He changed his tack. He spoke about welfare policies, welfare measures, etc., etc. But do you think that the people of Telangana actually felt, like experts are saying, that if he has changed the name to BRS, he is eyeing the national stage, maybe also wants to be the Prime Minister, he will never work for our welfare. Do you think that played upon the minds of the people, Mr. Prasad?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to all panelists and Shankranti Shubhakankshalu to all the viewers and as well as
how
the
nice,
panelists.
thank you.
Ma'am, the word of Telangana in the regional party Telangana Rashtra Samiti itself given a lot of vibrations in the total tenure since 2001. All of a sudden, when it has emerged himself as a BRS, as the Bharata Rashtra Samiti, and as and when he steps into the national politics, if you really recollect last time Federal Front and the subsequent movement, he has started BRS as a national party and he wants to align with some people and part of Maharashtra, he wants to conquer and all. By the time he has done everything and he has forgotten the ground, and he has assumed that with the help of KTR and Harish Rao and all these people can take care of the entire state and subsequent moves, he'll be doing wonders in the national level. And he wants to form a different form with all the remaining national parties, and he wants to do a kingmaker in 2024. But when it comes to the state election, the way is things given the results, he has never even dreamt for it. And all these days, he has his survival with the word of Telangana and the motivations towards Telangana and the sentiments of Telangana. And he himself lost the Telangana sentiment in his own party, the word of Telangana. By the time he has faced the big bang with losing the power, definitely cards will move to the original. Last time also the Federal Front moves got stalled, and again the BRS moves initiated in before 23. And again, it's just like back to square. Nothing of that sort. And he focused more on Telangana, and he'll see through that. He'll get the power. And again, if he wants later in the post of situations. At present, he has to give up that BRS.
Yeah, but the way you put it, Mr. Prasad, you're almost making it sound as if he's confused. He doesn't know what to do. This is his last resort. Hold that thought. I have to take a break. Mr. Murali, I'll come to you once I come out of the break. But to all the guests, thank you so much for your patience. I'm taking a break and I shall be back in a jiffy. Stay with us.
जो राम मंदिर है वो किसका है?
ये राष्ट्र का मंदिर है।
हिंदू धर्म को लेकर चेतना है, वो केवल ब्रिटिश राज यानी कॉलोनियल एक्सपीरियंस का नतीजा है।
सारे दस्तावेज में राम का जन्म स्थान प्रमाणित है, राम का अस्तित्व प्रमाणित है। इतिहास में इस बात की निरंतर कोशिश की गई 75 साल तक कि राम मिथ है।
आज की जो कांग्रेस है उसको इतनी दिक्कत क्यों है राम मंदिर से?
कांग्रेस के कुछ नेताओं ने ऐसा माहौल देश में बनाया कि राम और राम का मंदिर अगर आप नाम लेंगे तो आप सांप्रदायिक हैं।
The Ayodhya story retold in exclusive conversation with Hemant Sharma.
The South Indian is back. This is what we are discussing today. KCR's BRS to perhaps become TRS. What are the repercussions? How will it impact the political landscape of Telangana? I have experts with me, and now Mr. PVS Murali on the screen, please. Mr. Murali, tell me something that, is it also for KCR regaining what is called the regional satrap image once again, because he seems to have lost that after he lost the elections this time, and somehow Revant Reddy has come up as which keeps happening, in politics, nothing new. But is it a very important aspect of him regaining his regional identity of being a Telangana man?
Good evening, everyone, and happy Sankranti and Pongal to
Thank you, sir.
all of you. And answering your question, let me switch back a couple of years back when we had this kind of a debate when TRS became BRS, and I was a little skeptical about it, and I said, one of the reasons probably is that mind you, rap was at its peak, and then he had the, if I can use the word audacity to get into the BRS kind of scenario and go to the national party, national politics, and
Mr. Murali, I'm sorry to interject. Mr. Murali, I'm sorry to interject. There is some problem with your audio. We need to fix that because you're coming and going, sir. So I can't, it's not audible, and we need more clarity. Requesting also my colleagues in office to please help Mr. Murali fix his audio. There is an echo. Sai, I'm coming to you now, Sai, and I want to ask you something. That you said that there is, his cadre will not speak out of turn unless they have the blessings of KCR Garu, overall, that he must have said all that. But then that is also a kind of, a defeat, in the sense, when I say defeat, I mean, first you are going to Maharashtra, you went to Nanded, you went to several other places, you also travelled to Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, also you called Modi all kinds of names, ki ye to nalayak hai. He used that word, I remember very well. And also he first met Devegowda, he met Stalin, he met Mamata, he met several other leaders. Everyone thought he is going to join the Indie bloc, but he signed out of it. So don't you think that it is also a kind of loss of face for KCR if he goes back and changes the entire menu, as it were?
He met all the leaders, say regional satraps, as you have listed out, not with the agenda of joining the Indie alliance. His agenda was to forge a federal front, and that did not work. KCR, what he has factored in a lot of things that would work in favor of him and that would work against the BJP and the Congress, but he perhaps forgot one important crucial factor, that the total number of MP seats Telangana has only are 17, whereas NTR, when he forged National Front, or Chandrababu when he forged United Front, the total number of Lok Sabha seats from Andhra Pradesh were 42. So with 17 seats, whether he will be able to stitch an alliance that can really offer a formidable opposition to the BJP or to the Congress was perhaps not factored in, at least vis-a-vis the numbers. KCR otherwise is very articulate, very clear in his thoughts when he drawn up a plan for a national agenda, and the subjects which he talked about was not political vendetta, but practical solutions for the problems that are dogging the country for the last 75 years. So KCR must have lost perhaps in this number game, and I don't call it a defeat. These things are, these ups and downs in politics are quite common. For example, I tell you, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is a real good example for this. He lost power between 2004 and 14 for 10 years. He again, proved that TDP is resurgent. 2014, 2019, he ran the show. Now again, he lost. And now in 2024, he is raring to go. Again, he's on a serious comeback trial. So in politics, these ups and downs are
yeah, right. To happen.
Who did not lose the election, Sudha? Indira Gandhi lost, N.T. Ramarao
lost. I have nothing about this loss, but the point is that because he lost, a party which had little or no chance came to power. He gave also resurgence. He added to the resurrection of the Congress party side. This will go down in history.
No, not exactly, Sudha. The numbers may see. Congress has won some 16 or 17 seats last time, and KCR has allowed at least a dozen of them to come and join the BRS or TRS at that time. So Congress, it's not. It was only down, but not out.
All
so
right.
It's not decimated in that sense.
All right. Mr. Murali's audio has been fixed and it is only fair I go to him. Mr. Murali, please continue what you were saying, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me.
Not at all.
Let me go back to the old story where the reason why TRS became BRS is primarily because KTR has to be projected as a CM, and so there would be no job for KCR in state politics. So he had to get into the national politics, and maybe he can become a prime minister or maybe a kingmaker, and that was the strategy, and that was pretty okay at that point of time.
Right.
But today, now with all these setbacks, I'm not too sure. I may have to differ with my co-panelists that changing the name from BRS to TRS, or having established a vision or an objective earlier on, you keep on changing it, then that's something it doesn't augur well. That's point one. Point two is, now even if it is TRS or BRS, everyone knows that it is the origin is the TRS. So just by changing the label, the wine inside the bottle is still the same. And so the core issue, unless, looking at the peripheral issues, the core issue where when the leaders of TRS met and asked about the introspection. Now, I think the introspection should be from the level, from zero level, and say that, look,
all right,
this is what we did right, this is what we did wrong. Just because of the name change, it doesn't make
so you say that, yeah, so you said, yeah, you said it's not going to make much of a difference, because like you say, it's the same wine in an old bottle or the other way around, so it's really not going to make a difference. But I want to, yeah, so
I just want to just add one more sentence. Is that, see, look, the core issue is the strategy, how you go to the people and communicate. If we talk about water, jobs, and funds, that is the core issue of these three issues, and you go and communicate the same thing, how you utilize or distribute it amongst the people. Now, that's having said that, the core issue there is that why the TRS was defeated, if I can use the word, is because it's a style of the management. Each
that's
one
another
has
Mr. Murali, we are that's another conversation. That's over, sir. We are now looking at redux. We are looking at 2.0, and therefore, like you feel, it's not going to make much of a difference. Sai Shekhar feels that it's a bold movement. K.S. Prasad says that not really, he's both ways. Mr. Kinshuk says, does he have an option at all? He has to go ahead and do something, and this is the best option that he has, that he can do. Mr. Kingshuk Nag, tell me something, that if he becomes TRS again, do you think that, after all, elections is also about how much you trust the leader. Do you think, A, that he is clearly signing out of the national scene, he no more does not want to catapult himself to the national arena, number one, and number two, does it mean that he said it more clearly than ever that KTR is going to be his Uttaradhikari?
First of all, his national ambitions, he was only aiming at national ambitions, not that the people believe. Nobody believed anywhere else that you have a national ambition, that he can become prime minister, etc. Of course, everybody knows that one day KTR will take over from him. But the question is whether KTR is competent enough or not, we don't know. That I don't want to say. But KTR's policies are geared towards the urban rich and towards business and all. So I don't know whether that will work or not. KCR, if you see, has not really performed that badly in rural areas, and he's performed badly in the urban areas. And I don't know whether KTR's policies are correct or not. You see, after all, in urban Hyderabad, where we stay, we see that a lot of development took place in the new areas of Hyderabad, that is financial district, etc.
Okay.
A lot of investors came there. But what happened to the old areas? Nothing. So they have to sit and decide what's wrong. They have not taken feedback, na? Roads are in terrible condition in most of Hyderabad. So they have not done even urban growth. So what are they doing?
All right.
They
So
should,
that's
they are saying that you are saying that they are deciding what to do. They should come to the voters and ask them.
So you know, there's a message in what Kingchuk Nag says. He says, name change and all is fine. But have you even looked at the basics of what change the voters require? You can't ignore the voters and go there and wear a new suit and say, hey, I'm somebody else. It doesn't work like that. I have to take a break. And after I take a break, I'm going to go to Mr. K.S. Prasad to get his views on whether the policies will change, whether the ability to woo the voters will see an improvement or not. All that and more on the other side. Don't go away.
जो राम मंदिर है वो किसका है?
ये राष्ट्र का मंदिर है।
हिंदू धर्म को लेकर चेतना है, वो केवल ब्रिटिश राज यानी कॉलोनियल एक्सपीरियंस का नतीजा है।
सारे दस्तावेज में राम का जन्म स्थान प्रमाणित है, राम का अस्तित्व प्रमाणित है। इतिहास में इस बात की निरंतर कोशिश की गई 75 साल तक कि राम मिथ है।
आज की जो कांग्रेस है उसको इतनी दिक्कत क्यों है राम मंदिर से?
कांग्रेस के कुछ नेताओं ने ऐसा माहौल देश में बनाया कि राम और राम का मंदिर अगर आप नाम लेंगे तो आप सांप्रदायिक हैं।
The Ayodhya story retold in exclusive conversation with Hemant Sharma.
Pakistani spy agency ISI's sinister plan to target India. Training women to honey trap top civil and military officials. Counter honey trapping ops initiated by India. But gullible victims still caught in the web. Top military intelligence experts break down the web of deception. Colonel Hani Bakshi explains the phenomena of honey trap.
जहां पे भी आपको लगेगा, उनको लगेगा कि there is a person who is susceptible to women, who's making a lot of women friends on the social media. That is where they will make a spoof account and then start luring the person.
Colonel Pavitran Rajan decodes the psyche of the victim and the predator.
But when you go up the chain, no one enforces it to people at the top. That disciplinary regime and the security regime is not enforced at the top. And they usually have a public profile where it is much more easier to approach that person.
A News9 special on how modern technology has added teeth to the ancient spying tactic.
Our story takes you inside Pakistan's honey trap machine.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
Welcome back. The South Indian is here and we are talking about KCR's BRS to become TRS. That's the question. We are trying to debate the pros and cons of a namakarna, as it were, of a grown-up baby. Let me now get K.S. Prasad on the screen, political analyst, We have an entire panel of experts who understand the politics in both the Telugu speaking states rather well. Mr. Prasad, what King Shuknag said, I am taking a leaf out of that. He said just by changing this and I am adding this, maybe it's a cosmetic change. For many, it's a huge change because the Election Commission recognized them. Their new office in Delhi is really, something one should go and see that office. The kind of, inauguration they had in Delhi, the entire Pink Brigade was here, Pandits were here, etc., etc. But don't you think that, what was the charge? One of the most important charges against KCR was that he had become too arrogant. His party people, his family was ruling the roost. People did not have access to Pragati Bhavan, etc., etc. Do you think that instead of making this change, do you think the change should come from, what King Shuknag says now that KTR Garu is meeting people after people, almost 15, 16 meetings he has done, he's gone to Nizamabad, Adilabad, etc., to understand where they went wrong? Do they need to look inwards?
Still, they have not corrected it. Because the fundamentals are very clear. People of Telangana are given acceptance only for Telangana Rashtra Samiti because the T word carries such huge sentiments. And KCR is nothing but K. Chandrasekhar Rao. When he has given a consideration by himself to his own son, KTR, there is no acceptance. This is what the results as far as TRS government, which was faced in 2024 election, which was concerned just 2023 December elections are really meant by. But even after this, still he wants to travel along with KTR instead of KCR, the results will be always like this because the tolerance, the language which was given only to KCR. If others talks on the same lines and if the other shows the same arrogance, cannot be considered. This is what the lesson one should learn after the elections. Instead of that, if they are in dilemma and again KTR will take care of situations and all, if it happens, nobody will believe it because the sentiment and the fundamental of forming of Telangana, we have given all the considerations to KCR sir only. And instead of KCR, if he plans on behalf of him, somebody else cannot be considered by the people of Telangana. This is what one should learn. The language and particularly the code of conduct with the public around is only has given a consideration to KCR, not to anybody. The same is been repeated with the people of all Telangana leaders. That's why they face these sort of elections. If they can learn this, then all things will fall in line. And it's a dream of N.T. Ramarao to form national party.
Right.
The dream can be fulfilled by the people of Telugu Desam party, not by KCR.
Right.
This is also another lesson we should learn. If these two things cannot taken by KCR, if he takes this granted, again he has to face these sort of situations. There is no other option left for him.
Mr. Murali, are you in favor, because what you said in your first opening comment was that it really will not make much of a difference. Do you think that he should change the name, or are you against it? You think it's not going to do much to the kind of heft that KCR has, or the loss of heft, should we say?
See, at the ground level, my strong belief is that it doesn't make much difference because people still, despite it's being called as BRS, people still think and see it as a TRS. And the leaders are from Telangana, and it is born out of the Telangana agitation. So I don't see any reason why the name should make any difference. But then, as I said, the way you deal with people, the way you deal with the organizational structure instead of a flat structure like KCR and others, you should have, if they have a kind of a hierarchy and delegation, probably things would be totally different than what probably it happened in December last.
All right, Sai Shekhar, if you think that you are in favor of, the party changing its name, tell the viewers why do you think that it is absolutely fine, or rather it will be for the betterment of the party. Sai Shekhar.
If you repeat the question, I didn't get you. I thought you were asking Murali.
No, I'm asking you, Sai Shekhar, do you think that they should change the name of the party? And if you do, then for the benefit of the viewers, how do you think it's going to politically uplift KCR Garu from here to 2024 and even forward?
It's a gamble, Sudha, because we don't know how people would react to a decision that was reversed. So we need to see. But then KCR and the entire Telangana flock, leaders of the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, their Telangana is their middle name. That was considered to be like that. And now they have drifted away from that with a national agenda. Just now, K.S. Prasad was mentioning about NTR's thought process in launching a national party. So we should learn from the mistakes of others, but then KCR has actually committed a mistake by himself. I have serious personal reservations from the day one when he mooted the idea of the name change of the party from TRS to BRS, because the party would lose its Telangana-ness, which is the very crux of the whole Telangana agenda. So I am not very sure whether it would be helpful for the party or not. But then, as Kingshuk Nag was mentioning, that introspection that has to go deep down, and as Murli was mentioning, the party should not have a flat structure. It should have an organizational structure in vertical mode. And these measures would only help the party to rejuvenate and reboot itself. And it's a reboot time. They should not be in a hurry to cast aspersions against the government. Let them do whatever they are planning to do, whatever they are promised to do, and let them fail or let them succeed, and then play the role of a constructive opposition, because TRS was not routed in that sense, and they have been limited to 40 seats, and it's a very formidable opposition. Let them do their job. I don't think this name change back to BRS, back to TRS may give so much of a fillip which they are expecting.
So, ladies and gents, all the seasoned journalists, political analysts, some of them authors as well, they feel that, name change alone is not going to make much of a difference. There has to be a holistic approach to it. There has to be a 360 degrees change. There needn't be such a hurry. They can take their own time and play the role of a very responsible and formidable opposition. Let me thank all the guests. PVS Murali, thank you very much. Sai Shekhar, such a pleasure. Mr. Prasad, thank you. Kingshuk Nag, thank you very much for joining us on the top story today. And the South Indian is going to take a short break, and we are going to come back. It's a season of festivals, particularly Sankranti or Pongal as it's called in Tamil Nadu. Vanakkam, the South Indian is here. Festivals are something, now in the West they say, okay, it's a time to be with family and friends, but festivals in India have a different flavor. Sometimes it's like the entire nation is getting up and dancing. That's what we are discussing today, celebrating Sankranti. Tell me anyone from Kashmir to Kanyakumari who doesn't know the meaning of Sankranti. Impossible. That India is basically an agrarian society becomes more than obvious during this season of Makar Sankranti. Makar Sankranti is also called Uttarayana, the day on which the sun begins his northward journey. The entire nation, like I said, erupts, and the festival is celebrated with much gusto, particularly in Tamil Nadu, as it spread over days with Bogi first, then Pongal, and then Mattu Pongal. This time, Prime Minister Modi participated in Pongal celebrations at MOS L. Murugan's home and said how Pongal reflects the national spirit of Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat, and how the same emotive connection could be witnessed in Kashi Tamil and Saurashtra Tamil Sangamam.
पोंगल का पर्व भी एक ऐसा ही पर्व है जो एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की राष्ट्र भावना को दर्शाता है। बीते समय में काशी तमिल संगमम और सौराष्ट्र तमिल संगमम अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण परंपरा शुरू हुई है और उसमें भी ये भाव प्रकट होता है, ये भावना दिखती है। इन सभी आयोजनों में बहुत बड़ी संख्या में हमारे तमिल भाई बहन उत्साह से हिस्सा लेते हैं। साथियों, एकता की यही भावना 2047 तक विकसित भारत के निर्माण की सबसे बड़ी शक्ति है, सबसे बड़ी पूंजी है।
Feels really lovely to see so many Tamils in the audience, like Tamil Soundararajan, the Honorable Governor of Telangana, and also the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. I'm going to show you visuals of Pongal and loads of it. But before that, you know, festivals teach us that it all depends on hope and survival. If we don't hope and have a positive attitude, then there is no meaning to life. His name, Anurag Malu, all of 34 years old. Imagine he falls into a 70-meter crevasse near Mount Annapurna, but he survives. That's what survival is all about. That's a documentary which is coming up. But before the South Indian says Vanakkam to you, I'm leaving you with fantastic visuals of Pongal or Sankranti. Enjoy!
ಇನಿಯ ಪೊಂಗಲ್ ನಲ್ಲ ಅಳತುಕ್ಕಲ್ भारत का हर त्योहार